Welcome to Beyond the Badge. Beyond the Badge is an inside look at your Oshkosh Police Department, brought to you through the resources of Oshkosh Community Media Services.
Welcome to this edition of Beyond the Badge. I'm Joe Nichols. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. On today's show, we'll be talking with Mary Ann Radley, sexual assault victim advocate with Reach Counseling Services. We thank all of you for watching us today on City Cable Channel 10, and those of you listening to us on 101.9 WOCT. Mary Ann, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Yes, and for those viewers and listeners that don't know about you, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, I am the Advocacy Program Director, Victim Advocate, and Volunteer Coordinator at Reach Counseling Services, so I wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
And I've been with Reach for about 7 years, just over 7 years. So I oversee a team of 4 other advocates as well as volunteer advocates. So that gives me a team of about 24 folks that I'm overseeing as we respond to sexual assault in the Valley.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for being on today's show.
course.
And talking with us, first of all, what is Reach Counseling Services?
So Reach Counseling Services plays a lot of roles in our community. We are a sexual assault service provider as well as a licensed mental health clinic. So what that means is we provide community-based services to sexual assault victims, friends and family members through our advocacy programs and our prevention education programs. So we have advocates that work with the Native American population, with the Latino population. We have an advocate that's housed on the UW Oshkosh campus who works with survivors that are students, faculty, and staff, and she's housed right in Dempsey there to be accessible for them. And we also have a human trafficking advocate. So she works with women and men who have experienced sex trafficking in our area. So we work primarily in Winnebago County. Some go out into the surrounding communities to provide that support. And then we also have licensed therapists who can see survivors for long-term mental health care. So since we're a licensed clinic, we don't have any limit on sessions. People can come to us for as long as they need services, and many of our people do come to us for many years to work on their trauma. So we are able to see folks from Winnebago County and the surrounding area through that program as well.
Fantastic services for the area, absolutely. And so who does Reach Counseling serve?
Yeah, so like I said, we're primarily located in Winnebago County, so Neenah and Oshkosh is where our 2 offices are located, but we can see people from anywhere in the surrounding area. We specialize in treating sexual abuse, so we can see anybody, but we're going to give priority to people that have sexual abuse and sexual assault in their trauma history. So we're available to victims themselves, to family members who need help kind of processing what their loved one has experienced. So if people want services, or if people just have questions, sexual abuse isn't something that's very well understood. So if people ever just want to call us with questions they have, or, I think this happened to my sister or my friend, what can I do? People can call us for any reason.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. And the community agencies in the area, who do you partner with?
Lots of people. So as a nonprofit, we're very connected with the community. As advocates, we really do that community-based work. So we're very frequently working with law enforcement, with the local hospitals when victims come in for their sexual assault forensic exams. We get called in to provide support in person at the hospital in the emergency department while that victim is getting those services. We work very closely with the district attorney's office by helping victims understand the court process and what the different hearings entail. We'll go to court with victims or in place of them, help them get in touch with their attorneys, answer questions, things like that. And we're also just really connected with other nonprofit service organizations in the area, just to kind of provide those comprehensive services for people.
All right. And so we talk about sexual violence, and who's affected by sexual violence, and how prevalent is it in our community?
Absolutely. So, I think that this really is kind of a misunderstood topic. Sexual abuse is often something that people don't really think happens around here. You know, it's a big city problem, or it doesn't happen around here. I feel safe in my community, but truly it is something that affects all of us, I think, whether we realize it or not. If we're not victims ourselves, maybe we haven't experienced abuse in our own lives, but chances are you definitely know somebody, whether you know it or not. So the statistics tell us in our area, in our county, that 1 in 3 girls and 1 in 5 boys will experience some form of sexual abuse by the time they turn 18. So really, I mean, those are astronomical figures. Yeah. Those are higher than the state average. We're not sure why, but they are a little higher. We like to think that maybe it's because people feel safe to report here. Yeah. So we have higher numbers, but truly, you know, everyone, we're all affected by it. It's a problem that affects everybody.
Absolutely, and I think when you touched on those numbers, you know, if somebody is a victim or if somebody knows of a victim, and you mentioned it, that they can call.
Absolutely, yes. We want everyone to call us, like I said, whether they're calling to get themselves or a family member set up for services, or if they just have a question. You know, I take calls pretty frequently on, you know, how can I best support my daughter, or how can I best support my friend who experienced this? Maybe we're not ready to take this to the police, but I want to know what I can do right now to support them.
Absolutely, yeah. Great information.
Yeah.
And what does REACH do for the students in school? Because I'm sure that sexual violence occurs at a younger age as well.
Absolutely, yeah. We see it a lot with children. Like I said, the 1 in 3 and 1 in 5 before 18, huge numbers. So we do have 2 prevention educators. They are in, I think, just about every school in Winnebago County, K through 12. And yeah, they're busy, on the go all the time, speaking with, I think they speak with something like 20,000 students every single year. So really, there's a lot of exposure there. And what they're doing is going out into all the classrooms and just giving age-appropriate information to students, just depending on what age they're at, you know, on safe and unsafe touch, early warning signs. So maybe when mom's new boyfriend is around, kid starts to feel some butterflies in their stomach, maybe gets warm, sweaty, to recognize those signs. You know, I don't feel safe around this person. I'm not sure why, but I have to speak up about it. We actually had a situation in which one of our prevention educators did give a presentation on early warning signs. Little guy went home, told mom, she C-capped her boyfriend, and he was actually a sex offender, not having supposed to have been around children. So, you know, it's just those kind of stories that make us realize the important work that we're doing in the schools. Yeah. We receive a lot of disclosures from the kids. Last year, they received 149 disclosures from the little ones, whether that was sexual abuse, physical, or something else that they had reported was happening to them or had happened to them in the past. So we're getting out that information, hopefully doing some prevention work, but then we're also giving kids that have experienced abuse already an opportunity to disclose what's happened to them and then get those services that they need.
Well, alarming numbers, to tell you the truth.
Absolutely.
And we've been hearing about trauma-informed care and the Adverse Childhood Experiences study lately. ACE is what it's called. What is trauma-informed care?
Yeah, so this is something community members are going to be hearing a lot more about. This trauma-informed care concept is something that we've been hearing more about in the mental health field, in the sexual assault field, and it's really starting to take off. So people might start to hear this buzzword, trauma-informed care, around. And really what that is kind of just a shift in thinking, a shift in our mindsets about how we're responding to people that need our help, and really a more compassionate approach to problems that people are experiencing. So the simplest way to kind of think about what trauma-informed care looks like is reframing our questions to what is wrong with you to what has happened to you, because we believe that our experiences, what's happened to us in our lifetime, really shapes us and influences our behavior. So, you know, for example, oftentimes if there's, say, a child in elementary school and they're acting out and they're not sitting still, or maybe they're having accidents, we think, what is wrong with that child? But really what we need to think about is maybe what's happening to them. Maybe there's something going on at home that's, you know, they can't think, they can't concentrate in school, maybe they're not getting breakfast before they get to class. So what's going on in their life that's influencing their behavior, and starting to rethink about what questions we're asking to get the answers we need to help them. That's
great.
Yeah, I love it.
It's got to be a change
Definitely.
someplace.
So it's a concept that a lot of people are getting a lot more training on right now. So it's a good shift.
That's fantastic. Yeah. What is the ACE study?
So the ACE study, like you said, it stands for the Adverse Childhood Experiences Study. And this was something that was kind of a longitudinal study throughout the 80s and 90s. And they followed a group of adults, around quite a few adults, and we're able to make connections between these adverse childhood experiences and long-term, maybe physical and mental health problems as they got older. So the ACE study asks 10 questions. It's really simple and straightforward to assess what adverse childhood experiences did people face when they were little, and how do those affect their lives as adults. So things that the ACE study asks about are sexual or physical abuse, neglect, divorce, maybe the presence of domestic violence in the home, and having an incarcerated parent, and a few others. And if any of those occurred before the age of 18, it's said that you have a higher risk of developing certain physical, mental health problems as you age. So the higher the ACE score, so if you have maybe 3 ACEs or 7 ACEs or 10 ACEs, the higher your score, the more likely you are to have certain ailments as you age.
Yeah. A great pointer in regards to what's going
and
on.
it really just kind of shows how everything is connected. You know, we can't ignore those experiences.
So how does this influence the work that REACH does?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have recently started giving out the ACE survey to every client that comes through our doors, because we know when we're seeing clients, they have at least one ACE, right? So they've experienced sexual abuse, and maybe it wasn't when they were younger, maybe it was as an adult, but they've usually experience some sort of sexual trauma because they're coming to us and we're the experts in treating those issues. So giving clients the ACE survey is really a way of helping us just be more informed in the treatment we give, because we know that, I mean, sexual assault on its own is a complex trauma and it affects people so deeply and it is so traumatic. But usually people are coming through our doors with more than just the sexual abuse trauma. So just giving them a simple ACE survey and being able to have a score, a 4 or a 6, helps us understand, you know, maybe just the extent to the issues they're dealing with, and make a connection to any other sort of maybe physical health problems they're coming in with.
Very good. And is trauma the root of all of our social problems?
I would say it has a lot to do with it. When folks are traumatized, they aren't living their best lives. So trauma really affects our mental health, our physical health, and that, when you think about it, really has a ripple effect. You know, maybe it's difficult for people to hold a job because their anxiety is so high, or they're suffering with PTSD, so they have nightmares and they can't get out of bed in the morning. There's really a lot that trauma does impact, and I don't think people see it that way, and that's why we kind of spin back to that trauma-informed care. So what has happened to you that's making you behave this way, and you know, how can we help you?
Fantastic.
And you know, just a couple statistics I wanted to mention regarding the ACE scores. In Wisconsin, 56% of residents have at least one ACE, so have an ACE score of 1, and 14% have 4 or more. So you can see that, you know, there's people around us everywhere that have experienced these things and are struggling.
Oh, wow. Alarming numbers. And Marianne, you'll be right back with us, and we'll be right back after this short break.
Hello, I'm City Manager Mark Roloff. Roundabouts are new to many of us in Oshkosh, so we have to take extra precaution when using them. Remember, safety is the key. Slow down. The speed limit in the roundabout is only 15 miles an hour. Avoid distractions. Focus all your attention on navigating the roundabout. Find the proper lane. Check out the signage leading up to the roundabout. Choose your lane assignment early and stay in your lane. Evaluate the situation. Take notice of what kind of vehicles are in front of you. Sometimes larger trucks need to take up both lanes of a roundabout. Think to look for pedestrians and allow them to cross when entering and exiting a roundabout. Yield to traffic on your left. You must yield to all traffic in the roundabout, and that traffic will be coming from your left. Again, safety is the key. Remember that word and what those letters represent, and your roundabout driving experience will be a smooth one. Thanks for your support.
Welcome back to Beyond the Badge. We are here with Marianne Radley from Reach Counseling, who has been talking with us. Marianne, thank you for coming back on the second half. And you recently participated in point training. What was that about?
So the point training, that stands for Northeast Wisconsin Poverty Outcomes and Improvement Initiative. It was 3 days of very intensive training on, it was just comprised of, I think, over 400 people representing different nonprofit and service agencies from Oshkosh, Fox Cities, and Brown County. Were there to learn about how our agencies in our respective roles and the communities we serve can work to end poverty. So obviously This is a really lofty goal and not something that's going to happen overnight. But you know, with all our agencies that do all the different work that we do, all of us have a hand in dealing with something like ending poverty. So from Reach's perspective, we're looking at it again from a trauma-informed perspective, because people that have been traumatized often can end up in poverty due to one reason or another, not being able to complete their education or not being able to hold a steady job. So looking at poverty from the sexual assault lens and the trauma-informed care lens, and see how we can remedy those issues in our community.
Yeah, anything that's traumatic to somebody,
Yeah.
I mean, it basically puts their life on hold.
Absolutely,
So
definitely.
They
can make it much harder to succeed. So this is going to be an 18-month process with all these different community members. We all have teams that we're working on, whether that's comprised of people from other agencies altogether or just within their own agency. But we're going to be meeting, I think, quarterly for the next 18 months and weekly in our teams, and really working hard to try to figure out what we can do.
Great program.
Yeah.
Great program. Now, Reach is in the process of rebranding.
Yes.
Please tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So Reach is moving more toward becoming trauma experts in our community. You know, we're doing a lot of work around trauma-informed care, getting out there, giving presentations to community members on what trauma-informed care is and how you in the community and your business can be more trauma-informed. So to reflect this change, we've changed our tagline to healing lives and transforming communities. So we think that, you know, with all the work that we do at Reach, through our counseling, through our advocacy, education, we believe that's truly reflective of the work that we do. We're working to heal the trauma that people have experienced, and by healing individuals, we're really transforming our communities.
Fantastic, and you see the branding up on the
Yes,
screen right now. So that's excellent. And you also see with the rebranding, the Reach has a new logo.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm really excited about it. So you might start seeing this little hummingbird around the community. And we worked with Kendeo here in Oshkosh to do our rebranding process. And what they came up with for us, which we love, is this hummingbird that, I mean, it's a cute little hummingbird. You know, you're kind of happy when you see them. But that the hummingbird represents positivity, it represents resilience, and that's really what we see with our clients, is we want to promote their resiliency and, you know, empower them to overcome the traumatic experiences that they've had in their lives. So we see a lot of resiliency. I think that word kind of sums up what our agency stands for, and so that's also what the hummingbird represents.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we're really happy about it.
Absolutely, and I mean, the hummingbird's high energy, and
Yes,
I know Reach
definitely.
Counseling is high energy.
You got to be high energy. Yeah, that's for sure.
You have the annual fundraiser coming up very soon, and where and when will that be?
Yes, our annual fundraiser. Every year we hold Just Desserts, and again, it's going to be at the Bridgewood in Neenah. This year it's on Friday, May 13th. So it's going to kind of be the standard event. If you've been in the past, you'll know to expect lots of different tasty desserts from several different vendors from around the area, and of course we'll have our live and silent auctions. So lots of things for lots of people. If you have a sweet tooth, it's definitely where you want to be.
All right, very good.
Yeah.
Who does all the baking and
We don't have our vendors confirmed yet, but
Okay,
typically we have about, I would say 12 vendors, different area restaurants. They will come up with movie themes and create a few different desserts and have it themed to a movie. So I know in the past we've had Titanic and different things like that, The Great Gatsby. So lots of really creative people in our community that come out for it.
Very good.
Yeah.
I can see Star Wars already.
Oh,
So-
I think that's been there in the past, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was this year too.
With the new movie.
Yeah.
Marianne, how can people get involved in Reach?
Sure. So as a volunteer coordinator, I'm always looking for folks to come in and help us out with just our agency day-to-day operations. So The main thing I train for is after hours advocacy, and what that entails is basically being on call whenever our office is closed. So overnight or on the weekends, people can take shifts and be available to either speak with survivors over the phone or respond to the hospitals and be with someone in their time of need, maybe in the hours after they've been assaulted, and provide support for them through that process. So I provide training for that. It allows us to provide 24/7 coverage. So no matter what time of the day or night somebody calls, we will be available. If that's, that's not for everybody, of course. So we have, we periodically will need help in the office with data entry or envelope stuffing, things like that. And then also just with special events, with outreach and information booths. If people want to get involved, we'll find a way to meet their needs, because of course we're never going to turn anybody away. So we welcome anyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any age that they have to be?
To volunteer as an advocate, over 18. But if it's something like in the office, we could accommodate, teenagers, or if they wanted to come in with parents or something like that and make it a group activity, we would be happy to, accommodate those needs.
Okay, and so you don't have to belong to the Oshkosh or Neenah area?
Nope, definitely not. If people want to come in, we'll take them.
Okay.
Definitely.
Very good. Very
Yeah.
good. Well, I just want to say thank you very
Of
much for
course.
being on today's show, Mary Ann. And I do
Thank
appreciate
you so
coming
much,
in
of
again.
course, for having me
Absolutely.
back.
And I know October, you've got another event.
Yes.
Take Back the Night.
Yes.
And it's going to be the 26th year.
It will be, yeah. Last year we celebrated our 25th year, so we had that at the Alumni Center. We're not sure what the plans for this year are, but that event can always be expected to pop up somewhere around the first week of October. So people should get that on their radars and come join us for the 26th year.
All right, very
Yeah.
good. Well, thank you again for being on the show.
Of course, thank
and
you.
we'll be right back after this very short break.
If you have expired or unused medication, don't flush it, pour it down the drain, or toss it in the trash. Safely dispose of unwanted or expired medications at the drug drop box located inside the Oshkosh Police Department. It's convenient and anonymous, safe and secure, and it's open to everyone 24/7. Drop off your prescriptions, over-the-counter drugs, pet meds, and more. Keep drugs out of the reach of children and out of our water supply. Dispose of unwanted or expired medications at the drug drop box. For more information, visit the Oshkosh Police Department website at oshkoshpd.com.
Welcome back to Beyond the Badge. We thank Mary Ann Radley for being on the show today and talking with us about REACH counseling. If you'd like to watch the show again, you may go to oshkoshcommunitymedia.org or the Oshkosh Police Department website at oshkoshpd.com and click on the Beyond the Badge icon. Thank you for watching and listening to us today. Now remember to report anything that's suspicious in your neighborhood that is occurring that you find out of the ordinary. Studies show that those neighborhoods with Neighborhood Watch can reduce crime by as much as 90%. Please consider beginning a Neighborhood Watch in your neighborhood by calling the Crime Prevention Office at 920-236-5742. You will be delivered information on how to start a program by your team officer. Now, as the weather continues to warm, please watch for pedestrians, especially the kids, when they're out and about on their bikes and walking to maybe the park or to school for that matter. Please also watch for the bicyclists that will be out, and they'll be more numerous on the road. Can't forget about our pet owners. Pets are not allowed in any city park. I'm sorry to tell you that, unless it is a service animal. Please clean up after your pets if you are taking them for a walk. If your dog has to be outside when you're gone, please make sure that it has plenty of water and food and also shelter, especially during the summer months. Don't leave your dog in a car whenever it gets too warm. Okay, even at 60 degrees, the car can heat up to over 90 degrees and can harm your dog. So, Watch out for your pets, watch out for the kids and the pedestrians and bicyclists that are out there. And until next time, take care.